This is a dry time of year. It's an El Nino year, which is usually drier. And when you add a hurricane, it just makes the trade winds even stronger.
All right, we've got other stories to follow. Of course, we're going to get you the very latest on the Hawaii fire. Damaging winds, hail, and also tornadoes possible today. We've got torcons as high as 5. Severe storms across the country have been the theme of the week, and today no exception.
Multiple rounds of storms coming.
You know, places like Memphis to Jackson, Tennessee, Nashville, Huntsville, maybe even later in the day, Atlanta heads up for you.
Yeah, all right, let's take you to what happened in Colorado. Declaring a national emergency on climate change would unlock temporary executive powers to ramp up at renewable energy production and pull back on activities such as oil drilling and fossil fuel investment. It would also free up federal funds for disaster relief. Now, despite requests from some Democratic lawmakers, the president has not yet declared a national climate emergency. But the president has announced steps to take care of employees who work out in the heat. That's where our Stephanie Abrams continues our interview with the president. Tornadoes that are possible, along with very gusty, damaging winds and large hail. We're talking 2 inches in diameter or greater. So let's walk you through everything that's going on both at the surface and throughout the atmosphere. We start, though, with our torcon numbers. They're in that 4 to 5 range. So the area that we're most concerned about, that torcon of 5, that would be located right up into northern sections of Arkansas, southern sections of Missouri. So truly right along the state line. I would say Poplar Bluff to Jonesboro and anywhere in between. A place like Memphis, looking at, torcon values in that 3 to 4 range. 5 would mean dangerous weather anticipated. Tornado watches likely, and strong tornadoes, those that are the EF2 or greater, possible. So you want to monitor that forecast frequently. Let's take a peek at one of the areas under the torcon of 4. That is Jackson, Tennessee. And as I mentioned, it's also really important that we don't just look at what's happening at the surface or what's happening with our moisture, but also what's happening with the winds throughout the column, right? So what's happening up and over a place like Jackson, Tennessee? Well, at the surface, we've got those winds out of the south-southeast, and that south-southeasterly component, a little bit of an easterly component at the surface, always important when we're looking at possible tornadoes. So we've got that, but then those winds turn out of the southwest aloft, and notice winds really pick up. They're screaming at 20,000 feet. So we've got change in wind speed with height, and we also have that more favorable change in wind direction that would promote tornadic supercell thunderstorms. Those are also oftentimes the ones that produce the very large hailstones. So let's walk you through the areas that could see some of that largest hail. Again, 2 inches or greater in diameter. That's egg size or larger, and that's going to be an issue. So it doesn't have to be a tornado today that causes you the problems, but the tornado parameters, that would be the favorability. That's rising as we go through the afternoon and into the evening hours. You notice northern Arkansas, southern sections of Missouri. As we move through the late part of the day, that's when we see things peak. So I'd say dinner time into, say, mid-evening when you're watching television, that's when we've got that greatest risk across those parts of Missouri and into the state of Arkansas. Moving forward into the overnight hours, you can see things really drop off with the tornado risk. There's the damaging wind threat. So with those winds aloft also really increasing in speed, we can see some of those strong winds translated down to the surface, likely damaging winds from southern sections of Missouri and Arkansas as far east as Huntsville, Alabama, getting into south central parts of the state of Tennessee as well. Very likely that we see the severe stuff outside of the inside of the white shaded area. Here's your timing, 4 o'clock. Things are moving into Nashville, Tennessee. We've got that secondary zone south of St. Louis. A little bit more activity firing up as we move into the mid and late evening. So now we're looking at that line of gusty damaging winds that'll roll through Memphis. So this isn't a one and done event for you. A lot of these areas are going to see multiple rounds of thunderstorms today. And as we move into tomorrow morning, we've got those thunderstorms advancing into north and central Georgia, North Alabama, upstate South Carolina, and even western North Carolina towards the Piedmont area. When we talk about winds, we of course have to identify trees as the big risk that they are. 90% of the roots, Mike, at the surface. So soaking rains will saturate that ground, loosen the soil. You get the big wind, especially when we've got leaves on the trees, that's going to take them down.
All right, Alex, thank you.
Even on an otherwise comfortable day. So we want to bring you our scorching car scale, a reminder to look before you lock and just how dangerous things get in a matter of minutes. Dallas, obvious, right? We've got a high of 107. So after just 10 minutes inside a vehicle, temperature is 126, 141 after a half an hour. I mean, honestly, it's dangerous outside. So we're really looking before we lock, checking the back seat, keeping those cars locked in the driveway, because a lot of times kiddos, they look at cars like a place to play and may get themselves inside and not be able to get themselves out of the vehicle. Chicago, this may be one of those surprising spots to you. 83, you think, oh, that's not too bad. Pretty comfortable, actually. After just 10 minutes inside a vehicle, though, that's not running. The vehicle will rise to 102, 117 after 30 minutes. So it does not have to be these brutally hot summer days where we see problems inside of vehicles. So always important to check that back seat and leave pets at home too. If you're going to be out and about, if you're going to be running errands, make sure that you are, leaving pets at home, not leaving them in a vehicle. Cracking the window is not going to do much to change the temperature inside that vehicle. So I think a lot of times people go, oh, they were only in there 10 minutes. I cracked the windows. Doesn't matter. Those vehicles get very dangerously, deadly hot in just a few minutes, especially to children and to animals. Jet stream, it's way up to the north today, so that high remains in place across the southern plains. That's keeping our temperatures way up. So still triple digits. We showed you Dallas today, and through the late part of the week, that heat will continue for the same places. Here are the numbers as we look towards today, tomorrow, Friday. Triple digits for Dallas, for San Antonio, even New Orleans in the triple digits, El Paso, Texas. You've had your own storied history with the heat this summer. We're going to keep that going into the late part of the week. Jackson, Mississippi, where your average high is 93, 99 today, or tomorrow, 98 on Friday. We're going triple digits over the weekend and into the start of next week. When we look at temperatures where they are now, we're at 94 in Lubbock, 97 Midland. It's already pushing triple digits in Dallas. It's 99 in Corpus Christi. New Orleans sitting at 95 currently. The dew points aren't making it feel a lot better. Dew point of 76 in New Orleans, 73 in Houston, 74 Jackson. Montgomery, Alabama, dew point of 79. So with dew points closing in on 80, not just there, but also in South Florida, Mike, it is miserable outside.
Absolutely is, Alex.